All right, so I guess this is set up, right? I've been trying to set up the camera. Hey, I'm Ron. So I just wanted to talk about something that I was thinking about since I saw a video that on quantum of consciousness, Matt. Your question about to Christians, which, well, you know what? Before I get there, let me start out by saying, yeah, I personally don't ascribe to any particular label. I don't belong to any particular organization or support any particular uh, uh, belief because I don't. For me, I don't believe things anymore. So for me, what I'll say, what I'm about to say, whatever comes out, however it comes out, it comes from a place of what I've come to know to be true and what I feel to be true. So that's just from here going out there to whoever might hear this and listen. And there's no ill intent or anything for me. This is just me expressing, uh, I guess to put it another way, I'm expressing to me what I've become an expert on, and that is only my personal experience. To me, that's the only thing that I've been able to become an actual expert on. My experience and how it relates to me and how have related to it, the experience itself of my life. So, and that's come with a lot of internal soul searching because I realized I was searching for my soul, and it took me asking those questions: Do I have a soul? And what am I? Who am I? It was all those deep, profound questions. So that's where this is coming from me to whoever. Uh, yeah, I'm not trying to push anything on anyone except just to share what I've come to know and feel to be true. So, yeah, I don't believe anything. However, I do have faith. I have faith that things are going in a certain way right now in some epic, profound, cosmic, all encompassing, divine sort of way. I am convinced. But I can't know that for sure right now. For me personally, I can't know that. I can only see what I see and hear what I hear and feel what I feel. So that's where this is kind of coming from, just to preface it, because I do know that belief is very strong in folk, and their belief in things are strong. To me, belief was the trick. It was the trick all along to get folk to not know, to not be able to say, hey, I know this is truth. This is absolute truth. Here it is. It's not to know. It's only to believe this or that is real or true or whatever because of what you're told. And to me, that's the trick. Uh, that's the trick of deception that's kind of been played in how things have been presented, words and teachings, whether they spiritual, faith-based teaching or material, like science-based, physical material teaching. Either way, if it's only a belief in that teaching and not a knowing, well, then it's only a belief, so it can't be truth yet, because you don't fully know if it's really true or not. It's only what you've been told until you go and you find out what's true, what isn't true. So, and to me, I realize there's a ton of things that I cannot know if they're true or not. I can only try and relate my experience best way I can in words, my thoughts and feelings combined in the wisdom I've gained from my experience, whatever that may have been, and then try and convey that into these ideas and words. So it's not to try and cause division. It's just the opposite. It's to try and bring things together, hopefully, for whoever might hear if I would actually get on to saying something. Oh boy. Oh boy, I don't know where that stopped. I don't know where I was at, so I might actually repeat myself. Unfortunately, I'm not. I'll try and speed through. I got a mirror set up so I could try and see if it cut off on me. Yep, like it did, and yeah, I didn't catch it. So anyway, so the faith-based teaching, spiritual-based teaching, I was trying to say that Jesus, the Son of Mary, Jesus, the Son, was literally the sun that's in the sky, the sun, the male active principle of life and growth here that we all experience, and we absorb that energy, and we're all part of that same light energy. So, and then the moon, Mary, I stop at the M for Mary, representative of the moon or the divine feminine. So the divine masculine aspect and feminine are represented in that story, Mary being the moon. Why the moon? Well, is in the sun, because the sun on its regular, say, 360-degree day, whatever you want to call it, cycle throughout the course of a year, it stays the same. And then the moon, so that's more of not stay the same, but it doesn't have the same cycle like the moon does, the feminine, as the female aspect here, incarnation on the ground, females literally with their cycles that also as with the moon. So that represents the mother, the nurturing aspect. So is that still going? So it is the sun and the moon in that story, and then the Father or the divine spirit, is the creator, or the mother, father, creator in that story, in the way that allegory is presented. So it's to help build this inner cosmology to relate to the outside energetically and know that we are all that. And to me, the goal of all of this and all the teachings and this life experience itself, to me, it's simply to realize that through all those teachings, what they were trying to tell is that we are all sons, literal sons and daughters of the Creator, the mother, father, creator, who you can relate directly as mother, father in the moon and the sun, because they both bring light. The sun's light brings that growth throughout the day, that expansive growth to life. That's the male principle. Then the female principle, the moonlight. Is that still going? The moon that lights itself like a night light, like the mother. You have a mother that's turned on a night light for you at night, scared of the dark, maybe. That also, the mother that has those cycles, the feminine cycle, that's how we all tie together in creation as male and female to create more creation, because we're all a part of creation. And what was created by, to me, that's where labels break down. To me, where I talk from, it's a spot in here that I feel my soul, that I know is real, that I know is connected to out there. I know it's all connected and interconnected. I know it is, and I know everyone else is in the same form and fashion, whether they've realized it yet or not. And to me, that's where it's important to get rid of the belief and turn belief into knowing. And to me, is that still going? To me, that's the issue with the name and getting hung up on a name, the name itself, as if it's a thing to hold on to. Soon as you have that, you can create multiple sides of that and pit people against each other with this name for this beautiful concept that we are, to me, that we're all looking for. And then when, as I have found that inside me, trying to then express and convey to everyone else that they have that too. And that is them too. Because we are all part of creation, sons of daughters of creation in creation. And that's why to me, it's, well, I mean, I see so clearly how the division was created in so many different ways. Just by taking these natural things you can see and look at, and it's supposed to be able to energetically relate to as a living. Oh, sorry, someone would comment. I can't see it since the mirror's face. I'm just checking. But where was I? So here, being living, breathing, spiritual men and women in physicality, this infinite spirituality we have locked inside us, only until it's unlocked with knowing it's there. It takes searching, though. It did for me. It took a lot of searching for me, because my problem for so long was belief. I actually believed that there was no more. There was nothing else. And that belief held me locked into a robotic, automatonic way of thinking and perceiving and then acting and reacting in reality for so long. That's why to me, to get rid of the belief was to take all of the things I did not know to be true or not, and to get rid of them until I could turn things into a knowing within me, for me. And it wasn't any more hearsay that way, if that makes sense. Also, so the Bible itself, the King James Bible also, and of course I can't know any of these things to be true because I wasn't there in the past when anything was written or anything. However, I have seen that there's also a book on demonology by King James, the same King James that this version of the Bible is named after. So, I mean, I've seen the duality in things so often, and so many. It's in everything. It's where something is taken, something that's supposed to be a freeing, beautiful teaching, and it's twisted to lock folk down, spiritually, mentally, or physically, is what it comes down to. So he supposedly wrote a book on demonology. So I don't, does that mean he's bad? I don't know him. Like I said, I don't know what happened, and I don't even know if any of that's true. Someone else could have wrote a book on demonology and King James wrote this, and this is his book he wrote a long time ago. I don't know. I really don't. And it's not my place to speculate. And then, to be honest with you, I really don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Only what matters to me is what I see and what I'm trying to help with. Because there's a lot of deception. Also, something about so in the King James Bible, in Romans 13, want to say is where before that, to me, the spiritual, the faith-based teachings, if they're not taken internally and connected to energetically, if they're taken literally by the brain as belief in this concept or that, without totally tying together the logic and the creativity behind and beneath in the depths of what's said in the words and the meaning beneath and beyond the words, well, then it's belief that's it's rattling around in the intellect up here, because it hasn't been distilled into a knowing yet. And that's on purpose. The folk that's I can't get into who does what, but to me, what I see is with the religion, it creates a spiritual prison, so to speak, within the individual based off belief, where they're forced constantly to go outward to sources or experts in this particular religion for their spiritual guidance and development and growth. And it was not meant to be like that. None of this knowledge or teaching, to me, Any word we can formulate that I can formulate right now with my vocal cords from the inside to pass on, everyone else has that very same ability and has for a long time. To me, that is absolute proof that all of these things are known, have been purposely taught in a way to suppress consciousness, to suppress feeling to the point to where folk are constantly in the state of belief where they think they have to look outward, constantly searching for this, that, or the other because they can not possibly know these things. Oh no. Oh, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Everyone can. And that's what's being spread everywhere today, nowadays, right now, right this second out there. I see it everywhere. And I definitely didn't start this. Oh, like I said before, I'm way late to the party, so to speak, because it's not a party, because there is a lot to be done and a lot to be fixed. But it should be so easy to do because we all have this infinite potentiality, it seems, to understand and understand and overstand things to the point to where we can get a broad overview very quickly of what's going on, get quickly centered within ourselves, realize there's more, quickly wrap up that ball of infinity we have in ourselves when it activates and that spirit mode takes over and you realize, oh, I am a spiritual being. I'm more than just this physical body. This physical body is just here for me to interact with this world. And these thoughts are mine to control and mine to manipulate if I can get a grasp on them. And then line them up with what I feel and what I perceive and what I know to be true in the right way of doing things in line with nature and life itself and other life so as not to cause harm to it. Wow. Well, then that makes fixing things quick and easy to me, but I also know that's a lot of belief to work through because I had to work through all the same beliefs. I had to figure out that everything that I believed was a form of control. Money, government, religion, all of it the way I was taught. It all it all boiled down really to different forms of control, not just mine, but like I said, spiritual as well. So my spirit was never given a chance to grow, though I don't blame anyone for it. It's just the situation I was born into, the circumstances that happened to me in my past in this society, and I'm fine with that. That's why, I mean, where it's not fine, that's what I mean. There's so much damage, but I've done so much healing and come so far from, the anger and you know, the shame of being tricked for so long on so many things, of not knowing and allowing myself to continue and repeat patterns that really have been built for me and kind of programmed into me. So, but I get it now. And to me, that's why everything can change and quickly. So what I wanted to say about the, excuse me, water, yeah, copper. Anyway, um, so to me, yes, the religious teaching is this spiritual kind of bondage, right? Keeps you looking outward. And then to me, I tie together the tithing with that. Tithing, giving whatever your energy produced in this life, giving that percentage to the church. You know how to me, that's how they taxed you. They taxed you or us on spiritual information. They used that as kind of their, bargaining chip to get more material gain with this knowledge. That's the spiritual wise. But then later, Romans 13, it kind of pushed the whole ecclesiastic law of tithing and the power of the church. It shifted it to the physical, government, the governments, the monarchy, the king, I mean, that aspect of things. So just another form of control, while having one form of control established, creating another form of control at the same time, which then, of course, government, the root words means mind control, but, and that's not to disparage anyone in the government. I worked there for 21 years as a soldier trying to do the right thing. I tried. And it's only because of my belief, my belief, my belief in that I was doing the right thing for the right reasons, for my own reasons. It just turned out that those were all beliefs. None of those were things I knew. I didn't know what government was at the time. I didn't know. I didn't know what a spirit was. I didn't know what a soul was. I didn't know what nature really was, except for it was the outside. I didn't get the depth of life itself, in creation itself, in the growth of life itself, in all of its different aspects, in a 360-degree, all overview, encompassing perception type of way, always with blinders on, looking at this aspect or that angle, only that one or only that one, as the mind raced on all these different thoughts of beliefs and imaginary things, I guess, until I got control fully. Not to say I was absolutely, totally insane either. I was only absolutely, totally locked down into the left logic portion of my brain for the most part, with very little feeling from my heart that was able to get through, let alone tie creatively together into a grander picture of my life, to put it in a nutshell, so to speak. And it's taken a lot to break all the way out of that, to then realize what, I mean, but it started with a pow from the inside of there is more. There's a spirit in here. There's a soul. And mine was screaming at me. Along with whatever else I was being screamed at the same time, to like, focus, look at things, know things, stop believing things. To me, is what I got, is what I took in. Stop believing things. There goes your reality. Stop believing everything because you're broken. And it's kind of what I got. And it took a lot of healing. And I was broken inside. And yeah, I just want. So, what else? Oh, so about the religion itself. So yeah, for me, where I stand now, just do still go. For me, from where I sit right now in this moment, I sit in that bullseye, so to speak, for myself, of truth, of knowing that there is an absolute truth, that there is a God, that there is a soul that I have inside me that is a part of divine creation, just like everyone else out there. And that manifests in their physical body. Can, once belief is broken and they realize there's a soul in there, that's when it can manifest fully. Because if there's only a belief, well, it'll keep you locked away from your own soul. I'm not what it did for me. Because until I could get rid of that belief, I had this belief that there was nothing more. And that belief, I think, I really have to say, I think that belief was taken away from me by the place I don't like to go with labels, the place I don't like to go with words. Because to me, that's the place where so much profound, to me, it's trying to, it's trying to speak about a place where I know it is not my place to speak about or to put label to. And that, I guess that's maybe the best way I could put it simply. That's why I hesitate to use even words like God and Mother, Father, Creator, because to me, that's trying to put words to a spot that to me, it's not my place. It's not. not while I'm here in this experience, in the physical world with everyone else, male and female, living, breathing, spiritual beings, all experiencing this at the same time. It's not my place to try and speak about a place I can't. I can't know right now. Only to say that it's there and that I know it's there and I know it's real. That's all I can really say. But and that I keep trying to, I do the same thing so many others do, trying to beat around the bush on saying things in different ways to try not to offend or trigger anyone in some way that will cause harm or damage, because it's not about that. It's not to me. It's not to me. So, and to some, unfortunately, it might be about that. And I've seen that too, very directly, that these teachings are still being taken by some and then purposely directly used down this narrow path of understanding of this to then suck folks' energy along with it, that energy of belief and hope and goodness, and they just pull it away from folk. And they know, to me, some of them have to know they're doing it, but to me also it's from that place that I can't say were any of these names real. And they could have, all of these names from all these different teachings and religions could have all very well been real, walking around folk here. Folk, whatever kind of type of being you want to say, could have been, and I can't say, I wasn't there. What I can do is I can see the interconnectedness of all the different teachings, though, and then having a centered spot with my feet firmly planted on the ground. When they are, I'm sitting now, I realize, but when my feet are firmly planted on the ground and I realize I'm standing totally still in nature, as a part of nature, as the sun and moon, the sun that gives light of growth, interacts with both me and everything else as that light is taken in and growth occurs. The moon, as it passes over and lights the night sky, sometimes when you can see it, when you might need a little night light that lights itself, that shows very visibly the cycles of the feminine. Maybe if you can see it, the moon. And maybe that's the issue, because there has been a big patriarchal push toward everything is male driven. The sun, this active principle, except it's been twisted to physicality and war and fighting and control. While the moon, here's a question. Did the moon always have all those craters like that? Or is it that we, as a group of folk, I'm just speaking big scale, just a thought, just a feeling maybe, I don't know. Was at some point the moon's face as smooth as the sun's when it was appreciated more for what it was? Or is that what we've done energetically to the divine feminine in this world, is to beat the feminine down and suppress that aspect so terribly that the moon's face is kind of beat up. Does that make sense? Because to me, neither men nor women nowadays, for the most part, they're not. I know I wasn't taught to fully appreciate other men, other women, myself. I wasn't taught to really fully appreciate everything altogether for what it was and all the aspects of everything. So maybe it is. And maybe that is what's happening. Maybe that is what's causing all of these increases in things, is that the sun and the moon aren't as far away as was previously stated by some, and they are indeed getting closer, lower, as they move across the ecliptic on their path. And maybe that's what we're all feeling, is that intense energy of the divine masculine and divine feminine asserting itself both on the plane that we live on, whatever shape that may be. I don't know, as I stand with my feet firmly planted sometimes, when, of course, I'm not going, to my perception anyway, 1,000 miles an hour, 30 some odd thousand miles an hour in another direction, in some other way somewhere, so fast out into nothingness. Nope. It's quite still and quite simple and quite, how to put it, profound to me, the stillness, and to watch the movement of the sun, the moon, or the procession of the stars, and just knowing all of that is all connected to this here with us. It's all one thing. It's all one construct created by who? I don't know. By what? I don't know. That's where words don't work. So, and maybe that's what's going on, I figure. Along with that, unfortunately, maybe that's what it takes, this natural cycle of consciousness to fully express and develop itself again in those that are here, down here, to break those thoughts and beliefs of the mind, to be able to look up at the sun and go, that is not 93 million miles away. I can see it. I can see it moving through the so-called clouds. I can see the so-called clouds above, behind, in front of it all at the same time as it moves through. Same with the moon. Interesting. Though I still can't know exactly what it is, of course, because I just can't know that. What I can know is the effects I see and feel and have felt throughout my life here during this experience on the ground. Though right now I'm on this little left seat, but get what I mean, maybe. It's all, so here's the part with that though, the cycle. To me, for me, it also explains everything that I see going on as far as the ring of fire, the volcanoes, more and more eruptions in more and more places. The storms, because of not only the sun and moon, I would say. So yeah, don't get me wrong. I think there's plenty going on. I know here we go. To me, I know there's plenty going on outside the visible light spectrum, because everything falls along this spectrum of frequency in this place of energy we energetically live in. All just different forms, right, with its own frequencies. And visible light spectrum's very tiny. So I know there's a lot of things that I cannot perceive and that I'm not meant to perceive, I'd have to say, and I'm fine with that. I also know, though, that with logic and creativity and feeling all tied together with the spirit and the soul and the consciousness as it grows and develops, things continue to me to just get clearer and clearer and easier. Even though I see so many things that are causing they're causing a lot of folk pain and hardship and harm right now out there. Some of those things are on purpose too, is what to me is the killer, so to speak. I don't know. I don't need to go there deep into that, because no. Enough other folk go deeply enough into all that stuff, and I used to myself when and I know, to me, I kind of lost myself. I'll just leave that alone wherever I was going. So to get back to something I meant to say, the religious teaching, so to sit in that center point of truth and circle way back to that, I apologize. But from that circle of truth of just sitting here knowing a truth, it's like knowing, to me, knowing the truth of me, for me, about me as best I can, in it, being able to interrelate it in my experience with others, and knowing we're all part of more, we're all sons and daughters in this of the Creator. Knowing that, like, the next part outside that circle of religious or any kind of teaching is the esoteric teaching. The esoteric is just kind of the more hidden, occulted teaching, but in that there's still a lot of belief. But in that there's also knowing. It's knowing that these things interrelate to the cosmology of this place, inner and outer cosmology, and energetically how nature works, and the explanation energetically of the electromagnetic, nature of nature type of thing, and thought, feeling, action, reaction. It's all this knowledge of nature and how it works and how we interact as part of it in a mind body spirit sort of way, as or how we should, how we're trying to get to type of, is to me, just in my words. But in that knowing and belief, still got belief to me. So with that belief comes from the indoctrination through these steps of, here's how we're going to decide to teach you nature in these degrees and steps of these, this understanding or this understanding, where you stand under these words or you stand under these teachings, right? Because you can't get above them, because you can't distill it into a knowing. And it's designed like that, from what I see, of course, what I have seen, what I've come to know. So it's breaking that belief and knowing. It's knowing that there is truth in there. And the truth isn't about the materialistic, do this, do that, serve this guy, serve that guy, serve this name, serve this lady over here. It's not that. It's none of that. It's none of this chase outside yourself and give, and suffer, suffer, suffer. Though there's plenty of suffering involved with this experience. And to me, I that's something else I've been able to really make peace with, for me, which I hope I hope others will be able to soon, because there is a lot of suffering, and we have created a lot of suffering ourselves. I have, not intentionally, all this, but it's just how it was built and what we were born into to start playing out without realizing, until I realized, anyway, with my chosen path as a soldier, and going about the whole thing the wrong way, causing harm, which all those teachings out there try to teach and say, don't do that. Do not be the slave of the slave of a belief or this or that, and don't cause harm, and don't do that. Though all throughout, written in with all of that and explained and taught with all that, it's also taught how, someone already died for your sins, so now you can do whatever you want here. Don't worry about it. It's all good. No, that's not quite. That is way off base. That's not it. Whether anyone died of their own accord for everyone else's sin, to me, is irrelevant. To me, it's about me realizing the sin I have committed in this life and doing my best. Now that I know the truth of why I committed this or that sin, or why I had this, whatever action or reaction to whatever I did. Now that I know the truth, and I can speak from that place of balance and then convey that from a place of wisdom, like that's all I'm trying to do. And I totally lost myself again. Oh, but that came from the knowing part of wherever I looked throughout all these great teachings that are out there. So from all different cultures, because that's all us here doing all that same thing. We just might look a little different, whatever. Might be coming from a little bit different, point of view, but still, once you get that point of view of truth, it's that same point of view where everything looks the same and all the words start sounding the same that you're hearing everywhere else. That type of thing. In that outside circle, that religious teaching, belief, teaching. That's the exoteric part. That's the part where, yeah, by that time, that's where the priests are then passing on the words of these spiritual teachings that started from a base of truth in the center of the bullseye, which they likely don't have. Otherwise, they wouldn't be spreading it the way they do, because they only spread it in such a way, in my opinion, is because of their belief in this or that control structure or this or that, that they're on some pedestal that everyone else isn't, a part of, because, I'm better than them and that whole thing. So anyway, yeah, by the time you get filtered down from the truth through the layer of esoteric knowledge that they already have, where it's a combination of knowing and belief, which is why they have an expanded consciousness and be able to see and put together these concepts and things in ways that sound so truthful. That makes the snake oil sweet, I guess, so to speak, because it comes from a place of connectedness up here. The left and right brain, the sun and the moon, the logic, the creative, tied together, expanded consciousness with gained degrees of understanding. That's still locked, though. Still locked and locked from fully feeling and resonating fully with what is believed, at least in a correct, moral, in line with creation type of way. So anyway, to me, yeah, I kind of see, as much as I want to say there are no sides to this, and I have said that there are no sides, because we're all the same. We're all sons and daughters of creation, and creation doing the same thing. There should not be sides. Unfortunately, to me, the sides are, there's three sides that I can tell, that I can perceive. One side is the deceivers. Then you have the deceived. Then you have the ones that stand in truth, absolute truth, that know that know the truth. They can see through the deception. So, because there's three sides to every coin. The problem to me is so many that are deceived are caught in this middle gray area of belief, of not knowing. And it's because of the deceivers on one side of the coin. And I don't know, it's not up to me to go into the whys and hows and whats or whatever, so I won't. That's what I see, though. I see the deceived trying to deceive people into thinking and feeling they do not have a soul, that they are not a spiritual living being in this present moment as a part of creation and all the same as everyone. They want folk to think they are separate, divided into these different groups, to have different understandings and to only play their one little specific task or role in the game the deceivers have been able to construct, so to speak. And I'm not saying the deceivers or any specific individual, I'm not, because it comes down to me a more energetic thing going on here, where there's an energy of deception, an energy, however you want to look at it or label it. I don't go there. I try not to with those labels, but there's been a lot of deception, of a lot of natural teachings twisted into unnatural. So, and those folk, I fell right smack dab in the middle of nowhere limbo in the group of deceived for so long in my life because I did not know the other side of the coin really existed, that there was an absolute truth. That's why moral relativism is taught. It's taught to think, hey, man makes up right and wrong. No. Nope. And that's how they tricked us. So just like when the words of truth or the words of nature and explain life and explain feeling, thought, care, nature, cosmology, when those truths are taken and they're taught in these, where I don't know where I was going with that. Again, I apologize. Kind of lost track. Uh, well, anyway, when those are taken and they're taught in such a manner, for me, the way the way I kind of perceived the world, I didn't know that other side of the coin really existed because I hadn't felt it yet. Without feeling it, I couldn't realize it. Without realizing it, I just kept playing out the same old things I've been taught, going on with the same old beliefs until I didn't. So, um, I'm kind of getting lost. So I probably wrap this up. Let me take a quick drink because I wrote something else. Trying to kind of explain that spot of truth I was coming from, something like that. Here's what I wrote. See how it comes out. It's truth, and I put, kind of. Let's see. I kind of drew like this little. Yeah, you probably won't be able to see it. That bullseye. Truth, whatever. I just wrote truth, and it's kind of trying to convey what that spot is to me, and what I think, what I feel everyone's trying to get to. I put the truth. So when I say it is, this is what it is to me. Say individual knowing and feeling. Now talking kind of in the third person. Individual knowing and feeling their soul and its connection to creation as created by the Creator. But we here, while we're created, it's outside our ability to really label it. So, let's see. We each come to know the same truth and feel the same truth as we live, grow, and act in truth. And that's in a morally right, in line with nature, do no harm, know thyself fully. Because, whoa, that's a deep one. Know thyself fully, because that's where you really go in and get the knowledge and the wisdom of your own experience. Because it's another thing is that I'm convinced as well that folk, no matter what experience they had, how it played out, that they've experienced enough in this life, in this reality, to be able to distill into wisdom all of life's lessons they might need to learn, and then to pass on in a loving, caring, nurturing, morally right, in line with nature type of way. Yeah. And the hardest thing to get across to me, to try and convey to others, is that it's not, you have to you have to shut down, you have to go inside where the words stop and the feeling and the knowing starts and grows and helps put the words and concepts together for you from the inside. Just by letting yourself be in the moment for as long as you need and breathe and consider the air and the energetic aspects of everything and how it's all intertwined. And to me, that's the spot where the most growth takes place. It's that spot inside. Whoever you might be, don't have to go anywhere for it. Nowhere. You only have to go to a place where you're not being distracted and yanked at and pulled at and driven to do this or that, or trying to be made to feel or triggered in some certain way because someone wants to lash out at you and make you feel like them, to feel down as they feel down in their experience and in their existence. That has to be blocked out. That has to be stopped. That has to be stopped to find that inner peace. That inner peace that then is what folk call the Christ consciousness, and then to know that that stuff is real and expand their own consciousness, to feel that we are all part of this whole thing together as sons and daughters of, you know. So, all right, appreciate it. I hope that kind. Oh, you know what? There's something else, the Mandela Effect. So, well, let me just try and do this one real quick, fast, and in a hurry. To me, the Mandela Effect is two things. There's a man-made created type of versions of things happening with it, of course, with corporations and the this and that and whoever. You know, the whole part of the trauma-based mind control program, make folk think they're crazy by changing little things here and there. Like you change something in the room, see if someone notices. That kind of thing, except on a bigger scale. To me, that is happening because it is also happening in a spiritual, energetic type of way as well. And to me, those types of ways, say, verbiage or words changing in something like a physical book, like a Bible, that somebody owns and has read those certain words in one way one day and now read them in another way the next. Okay, to me, yes, that's one of those energetic spiritual things that to me is a signpost. Like the 11:11 thing and this and that, it's another signpost for whoever in whatever area of reality that Mandela effect, so to speak. There we go with the labels and make people take sides. I don't even know Mandela, and then that got it. You know, it's not about that. It's not. It's about changes in reality, in the physical world, whatever that might be, whatever any of that means. Yeah, some of them are signposts. I figure to catch folk attention in whatever area that might be that they look at in their reality, day to day. Something noticeable to get them to look twice and go, what is this? This is not something I can believe. And to me, that's the point. That's the point of the 11:11. That's the point of folk getting vision, folk saying different prophetic things, folk feeling things, folk waking up, so to speak, whatever. It's all, to me, the same thing, is to point out in an area in life to go from somewhere or in here, however, of course from out there, because it's changes out there. Something from out there going, please take another look. Yes, don't believe that. Yes, go into, now I need to know what's going on. Turn it into knowing. What is the wisdom of this place? What is the wisdom of this lesson? What is the wisdom in what I personally saw change here or there? To me, there's things to be found in all of it, everywhere. The thing is to find your own. Because it's happening all around each of us at every moment, all the time. In our day-to-day real life. It's happening. It's been happening. The goal is to realize it, key in on it, and start to know. Start to know, find the truth, spread the truth. To me, that's the goal here. To me, that's the goal of being a creation in the form I'm in, like others all over, Men, women, children, doesn't matter what label of a race you want to give it, because to me it's not about those different races. There's only one race going on here. To me, that one race is that same thing you want to call the meaning of life, or I might want to call the meaning of life. That's simply a race to find truth. That's simply a race to know truth. To me, that's simply to know that that I'm here for a purpose. I'm not here out of random happenstance. And for me, that's what I figure so many others are looking for too. Because turns out I was looking for that all along, and I just didn't realize what I was looking for till it kind of found me, I guess. This whole concept of a whole absolute truth and the bigger meaning, deeper meaning, the more all encompassing meaning in everything. So, all right, I think I'll stop now. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to look at the comments. One each time I might have it set up to where maybe I can actually do that. So I can kind of interact. That would help me actually, because it's kind of hard for me to sit down and go, where am I going to go? And I get lost here and there and everywhere. So, and I see comments popping up in the mirror. Hold on, sorry. I'm trying to get oh, they faded away. I'm trying to get my face all up in the camera all crazy. But I might be back on. I like doing this. I enjoy it. I figure for nothing else, if nothing else, I figure it's therapeutic for me. If I figure it's practice for me in just putting my own energy of my own thoughts and feelings into the vocal cord energy of out loud words, because I realized just how hard that was when I tried to do it for myself. When I'm saying things from someone else's point of view all the time, repeating things, I really realized how hard that was. I really realized how many of my own words I wasn't using. So it's good practice for me too. So I hope this went well. So I appreciate anyone who watches or listens, and please don't take anything I'm saying the wrong way or as an attack, because it's really not meant to be so. It's really not. Just the opposite. So appreciate it. Let me go ahead and shut up now. I have a problem with that sometimes. Let me see. I can try to hit this in the mirror. Oh, this is hard, man. It's all backwards. Like backwards land sometimes.